Today, we're going to tear down one of the biggest, most stubborn myths in all of fitness. It's an idea that's been the default advice for decades, something passed down from trainer to client, from magazine covers right into your brain. It's a belief that has fueled, literally fueled countless hours of boring, frustrating effort with almost nothing to show for in the long run. I'm talking, of course, about the idea that the key to losing body fat is to just log more and more time on that treadmill. We're here to talk about cardio and why it is absolutely not burning fat the way you've been led to believe. And just so we're clear, this isn't just my opinion. This isn't some new trend. We're about to do a deep dive into the real science of how your body responds to exercise, how it manages energy, and what it really cares about, which is survival. But look, before we can bust the myth, we have to admit why it's so darn powerful. And the truth is, cardio feels like fat loss. It just makes sense, right? It lines up with that whole no pain, no gain thing we've all heard. You get on the machine, you start moving, your heart starts pounding, you're breathing hard. The whole experience just screams work. Every drop of sweat, every gasp for air feels like you're launching a direct attack on your body fat. It's this powerful, in-the-moment feedback that tells you you're winning the fight with every single step. And that feeling, well, it's addicting, it feels productive, it feels like you're doing the right thing. And then you've got the machine itself, which seems to prove you right with cold, hard numbers. You look down at that console and you see it, that glorious little number ticking up. 100 calories, 200, 500 calories burned. It's like a video game. It's a tangible reward for all that effort. In a process like fat loss, which feels so slow and abstract, seeing a number like that gives you this huge sense of control. It tells you, hey, you did the work, you created a deficit, you've earned this. We get obsessed with that number, thinking it's the only thing that matters. The problem, as we're about to see, is that this number is not only usually wrong, but it's distracting you from what's really going on under the hood. And finally, yeah, of course, it makes you sweat. This is probably the most primal confirmation of hard work there is. We're just wired to think that sweat equals fat melting away. You finish a workout, you're drenched, you're tired, and you feel like you've purged something bad from your body. But let's be super clear about what's actually happening. Sweat has almost nothing to do with fat loss. Sweat is simply your body's radiator fluid. That's it. It's how you cool down when your engine gets hot. How much you sweat is all about the temperature in the room, the humidity, how much water you've had, and your genetics, not how much fat you're actually burning. You can sit in a sauna and lose 5 pounds of water weight, but you haven't lost a single ounce of actual body fat. The feeling is powerful, for sure, but the reality is something else entirely. So you have this perfect storm of feedback, right? You feel the effort, the calorie counter tells you you're doing great, and the sweat proves you worked hard. It all builds this ironclad case in your mind that you are doing the right thing. But what if it's all just an illusion? What if all that effort, all that sweat, and all those calories on the screen are actually programming your body to get better at storing fat and worse at burning it? How is it possible that the very thing you think is your secret weapon for fat loss is actually teaching your body to hold onto its fat stores for dear life? That is the big, counterintuitive question we are going to answer right now. That is the critical question we're going to answer today. And before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. Sharing this explainer could literally save someone years of frustration, so your support really does make a huge difference. Okay, let's get into it. Here's our game plan. First, we're going to completely debunk the cardio illusion, and I'll show you exactly why that calorie counter is lying to you. Second, we'll dive into what I call your body's adaptation trap, and how a good thing, a survival mechanism, actually becomes the problem. Third, we're going to unlock your metabolic engine, revealing what really drives fat loss. And finally, and this is the most important part, we'll put it all together and show you how to use cardio strategically, as a tool, not as the main event. So let's kick things off with Section 1, debunking the cardio illusion. The biggest problem, the original mistake that everything else grows from, is our obsession with the number of calories we burn during the workout. So picture this. You go for a long, hard run. You push it for a solid hour. You're exhausted, you're sweaty, but man, you feel accomplished. You look down at your fancy watch and it says you burned 600 calories. That feels amazing. It feels like a huge win. In your head, you've just carved out a massive chunk of fat. You might even think, awesome, that just paid for the burger I'm going to have later. But that feeling of progress, it's a powerful and very convincing illusion. That 600 calorie number is just a snapshot in time. It tells you almost nothing about the big picture of your metabolism over a full 24-hour day. And this slide right here gets to the absolute heart of the misunderstanding. We are obsessed with the left side of this slide, the calories burned in that 1 hour of exercise. But real, lasting fat loss isn't determined by what happens in that single hour. It's determined by what your body does with energy during the other 23 hours of the day. The question isn't, how many calories did my run burn? The real question you should be asking is, how did that workout change my body's entire metabolic environment for the rest of the day? And when you start asking that question, that's when you see the huge flaws in the more cardio approach. To really get why this is so important, you have to understand this one core concept: survival efficiency. Your body is an incredible machine, perfected over millions of years with one main goal: survive. And a huge part of survival, especially when food was scarce, is saving energy. So your body's default setting is to do any repetitive task using the least amount of energy possible. It's always trying to get more fuel efficient. Your body doesn't know you have a fridge full of food. It's running on ancient software that thinks a famine could be right around the corner. It's a master of adaptation, and its favorite adaptation is becoming more efficient. And this right here, this is the central conflict. Your body's goal of becoming more efficient is the exact opposite of your goal for fat loss. When it comes to fat loss, you want your body to be a gas guzzler, not a fuel-efficient hybrid. You want it to be metabolically inefficient. You want it to waste energy. But when you do the same steady-state cardio day in and day out, you're sending your body a very clear message. Hey, get really good at this. We do this all the time. Learn to do it while burning as few calories as possible. And your body, being the amazing machine it is, does exactly that. It adapts. That 60-minute run that used to burn 600 calories, now it only burns 500, then 450. You get better at running and worse at burning fat. So let's move on and see how this drive for efficiency leads to what I call the adaptation trap. This is where your body's brilliant survival programming becomes the very thing that stalls your progress and leaves you feeling completely stuck. To understand this trap, you've got to reframe how you think about exercise. All exercise, lifting weights, running, whatever, is a form of stress. Now, stress isn't a bad word here. Acute short-term stress is the whole point of training. It's the signal that tells your body to adapt and get stronger for next time. The problem isn't the stress itself, it's the dose. It's the difference between a controlled fire that forges steel and a wildfire that burns down the whole forest. When the stress from cardio becomes chronic, meaning you're doing long sessions way too often without enough recovery, usually while you're also dieting, you trigger a really problematic hormonal response. Your body's main stress hormone, cortisol, gets chronically elevated. And when cortisol is always high, it's destructive. It messes with your recovery, it gets in the way of repairing muscle, and here's the real picker for your goals: it can directly tell your body to store fat, especially that dangerous belly fat around your organs. You're basically putting your body in a constant, low-grade state of panic. And this state of high stress and high efficiency leads directly to the single most common, most frustrating complaint I hear. People say, I'm doing everything right. I'm running an hour a day, I'm eating salads, and the scale has not moved in weeks. In fact, I think I actually look softer. This isn't a failure of willpower. It is a predictable biological response. Their body is in panic mode. It sees a double threat: tons of stress from the cardio and not enough food from the diet. So what does it do? It slams the brakes on fat loss and holds on to every bit of energy it can. It's a fight against your own biology, and it's a fight you will always lose. So this leads you straight into the adaptation trap cycle. And I want you to be honest with yourself. See if this sounds familiar. Step 1, you start doing cardio to lose fat. And at first, hey, it works. Step 2, after a few weeks, your body adapts. It gets more efficient. Step 3, because you're now burning way fewer calories for the same workout, your fat loss stalls. You hit that plateau. Step 4, what's the only solution you can think of? More cardio, of course. You go from 30 minutes to 45, then an hour. Step 5, this huge increase in cardio combined with your diet just compounds the stress. Cortisol goes even higher, recovery goes down the drain, and you dig yourself deeper and deeper into this hole, making it even harder to lose fat in the future. You're just spinning your wheels faster and faster. So what's happening is your body basically internalizes this message. It says, oh, this hour-long jog? Yeah, that's just part of the daily routine now. It's not an emergency anymore. We've gotten really good at this, so no need to burn a bunch of extra fuel. So you end up in the worst possible situation. A workout that isn't hard enough to create change, but is stressful enough to prevent it. That cycle is exactly why so many people feel stuck. If this is starting to make sense, if a light bulb is going off for you, then before we jump into the solution, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance.
My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. Your support helps get this information out to people who are caught in this exact trap.
Okay, we have hammered on the problem long enough. Let's talk about the solution. This is the good part. This is where we stop fighting our body and start working with it. Welcome to Section 3, Unlocking Your Metabolic Engine. We're about to find out what really drives sustainable fat loss.
I want you to burn this sentence into your brain. Muscle is your primary fat loss organ. Not your heart, not your lungs, your skeletal muscle. It is the most metabolically active tissue you have. The amount of muscle you have is the #1 driver of your resting metabolic rate. That's how many calories you burn 24/7 just sitting on the couch. Your muscle is the engine of your metabolism. A bigger engine burns more gas, even when it's idling. So your goal shouldn't be to just burn calories for an hour. It should be to build the biggest, most powerful metabolic engine you possibly can. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Let's go through it. First up, muscle mass. We know chronic cardio can actually cause you to lose muscle. Resistance training, it's the #1 way to preserve or even increase it. Next, resting metabolism. Well, that's a direct result of the first point. You lose muscle, your metabolism goes down. You build muscle, it goes up. Simple. Third, hormonal state. Chronic cardio puts you in a stressed out, cortisol-driven state. Resistance training, it promotes a growth-oriented, anabolic state. And finally, nutrient partitioning. That's a fancy way of asking, where does your food go? Resistance training makes your body way better at sending the food you ate to your muscles to be used for fuel and repair instead of to your fat cells for storage. In that table explains something you've probably seen before, the smaller but softer look. It's the person who loses 20 pounds on the scale, doing nothing but cardio and dieting, but they don't really look that different. They just look like a smaller, deflated version of their old self. That's because a huge chunk of that weight they lost wasn't fat, it was precious, metabolically active muscle. They won the battle on the scale, but they lost the war for their metabolism, making it incredibly easy to gain all the weight back and then some. So let's be crystal clear. Real, lasting fat loss is not about how many calories you can burn in an hour. It is driven by these 4 pillars. #1, building and protecting your muscle mass. #2, improving your insulin sensitivity so your body handles carbs better. #3, creating a healthy hormonal balance. That means managing stress. And #4, prioritizing your recovery capacity. As we've seen, a cardio-first approach actively works against almost all of these. All right, this brings us to our final and most important section, using cardio strategically. Now let me be very clear. This is not me telling you to never do cardio again. Not at all. Cardio is great for your heart, for your endurance, for your mental health. The goal is to stop using it as your main fat loss weapon and start using it as a smart supplemental tool. This is the big mindset shift you have to make. The foundation of your entire program, the absolute bedrock, has to be resistance training and smart nutrition. That's what builds and protects your metabolic engine. Cardio then becomes a supplement you sprinkle on top. Think of it like this. Resistance training is the foundation and frame of your house. Cardio is the paint and the trim. It's important, it adds to the final look, but it can't hold the building up on its own. So what does this actually look like? On the do this side, at the top of the list, daily walking. It's low stress, it burns fat, it helps you recover, it's the most underrated fat loss tool on the planet. Next, short conditioning sessions. Think 10-20 minutes of things like sled pushes or kettlebell swings. And finally, occasional intervals, used sparingly, maybe once a week. Now on the not this side, daily long runs, which create all the problems we've been talking about. Excessive HIIT, which just burns out your nervous system. And finally, the worst one, using cardio to earn your food. That's just a toxic mindset that sets you up for failure. When you start using cardio this way, your goals for it totally change. You're not chasing a calorie number on a watch anymore. Your new goals are 1, to support recovery from your real workouts. 2, to improve your insulin sensitivity, like taking a brisk walk after a big meal. And 3, to train your body to get better at using fat for fuel under low stress conditions. It becomes a tool for health, not a tool for punishment. So let's just boil this entire thing down to one core idea. This is your new mantra. Sustainable fat loss doesn't happen by trying to burn as many calories as possible. It happens when 3 things are in place. Your muscle is protected, your overall stress is controlled, and your recovery is prioritized above all else. That's it. That's the secret. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. I want you to look at what you're doing right now and ask yourself this. Are you training just to get tired, or are you training to actually change? Getting tired is easy. Anybody can go run themselves into the ground for an hour. That doesn't take a strategy. But creating real, lasting change in your body, that takes an intelligent approach.
Don't confuse feeling tired with making progress. They are two very, very different things.
Thank you so much for sticking with me through this deep dive. I really hope this gives you a new, more effective way to think about your goals. And one last time before we wrap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. Thanks for your time and your attention. Now go train smart.